Hello there, film fans, and welcome to another More Movies Weekly. This one is number 35.
Come alive, stop to 5.
This is the podcast where we like to talk about all things film, cinema, movies, all that kind of stuff. My name's Greg Fisher. His name is David Roberts. How you doing, Dave?
Pretty damn good, son. Pretty damn good. How are you?
Pretty damn good myself, my friend. This week we are talking about a brand new movie that's called Mass. It's just come out 2021, a month or so ago. It is a drama film. It was voted for by one of the pledges on our Patreon page. So here we go. Let's talk about this great film. So the IMDb synopsis says, aftermath of a violent tragedy that affects the lives of two couples in different ways. This film is a very minimalist film. It's very much a drama film. There's only really 4 main actors in it. We have a couple of other sort of supporting actors that make an appearance at the start and at the end, but the main meat of the piece is acted out between two couples. So we have Jason Isaacs and Martha Plimpton as one of the couples, and Dowd and Reed Birney as the other couple. When the film starts, it's not really made apparent about what's happened, why these people are meeting, just the fact that they're meeting in a church, in a meeting room there. It's sort of like been hired out for them. So we start the film with the people who work at the church. I think it's an Episcopalian church. They're kind of preparing the space. So that sort of happens at the start, and you're thinking, okay, what's this about? There's no allusions to actually what's happened. Only the fact that the people that will be turning up to have the meeting have obviously been through some sort of trauma. We can tell that by the person that's kind of like hired the space for them. But as I say, nothing is actually specified, so you're kind of left thinking, okay, what's going on here? And then obviously the couples come to meet in the room, and gradually over the course of, the conversation, it is revealed what has happened. It's kind of a heavy one, this one, Dave, don't you think?
It is. It's probably worth us giving a spoiler alert.
That's why I didn't say anything yet, but yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, it's probably wise, just to say there's no way to talk about the film is there without really revealing some of the details. So if you haven't seen it and don't want it spoiled, obviously go and watch it first and come back. Yeah, it is, as you say, it's very minimalist. It's a bottle movie, essentially. We really don't spend much time outside of the 4 walls of that room that they're sitting in. It's a small cast. There's so many great films in this kind of genre, going back to one of my favourites, 12 Angry Men and stuff like that, these kind of things. But it's really interesting, this, obviously, because it, as you say, so intimate with just the 4 main actors performing it out. What also struck me is how, for a lot of the film, how quiet and how silent. And although there's obviously a lot of talking in the film, there's moments when nothing is said, but you know everything about what is going on. And it leads to some very uncomfortable, almost heartbreaking sequences and silences. Yeah, that you just like, it gives you chills. You're just like, this is so... It's the unspeakable awfulness of the subject matter, isn't it?
So now we've gave a spoiler warning out. I think it's safe to say basically what's happened is there's been a school massacre. A guy has gone into a school with like a pipe bomb and guns, and he's massacred a bunch of kids. So we've got the parents of one of the victims, the children. And we've also got the parents of the murderer, of the shooter, whatever you want to call them. So it's like one of these, I suppose a sort of session. It's like catharsis session. It's a chance for both parties to meet and try and find some sort of common ground. Maybe try and find, forgiveness. Maybe try and find understanding. Maybe try and just let out some emotions. Get some answers. I don't know. They don't, what would you do in that situation? I suppose you wouldn't know yourself. You just sort of go into it hoping that it's going to help you in some way or another. So basically that's what's happened. You don't find that out straight away, which is a great thing, because it's a good device that, you know, for the first 20 minutes of the film, you're thinking, what's gone on here? And you get little drips of information that makes you think, and then when it's kind of like just then laid out, you then find out the details of what's happened. And
I thought that was really interesting, actually, saying on that point that it literally, I was watching the time, it was 20 minutes before they're sat at the table and the conversation starts.
Yeah.
It takes all that time to get to there. And it's not till the 35th minute that they first mention the fact it was a shooting. And you don't know all the facts at that point, you just know it's something in that area. So it takes a while to get there.
There's 4 individuals there, obviously 2 couples, but they're all 4 individual people, and they all have different reactions to it. They all have different experience of what's happened, and so it's getting to know 4 different characters, as well as getting to know this past that they have in common, this sort of thing that's happened that's brought them all together. Basically, it's like a play, isn't it? It's just like 4 people sitting together across the table in a room. So you need great actors to bring that home. You need that. And I thought we had 4 great actors here.
We did. I mean, obviously, we had Lucius Malfoy himself.
Yes.
Jason
Isaacs, the great Scouser.
He's fantastic, as always.
Great to see him in something like this. And it shows how well he can play an American, because most people probably would never believe he was a Scouser.
That's it. He's one of my favourites. He's a fantastic actor, and I think everyone loves him. And obviously, he's been singled out for praise a lot in this film, I think, just because of how well known he is. I thought the most impressive performance was from Dowd, who played the shooter's mother.
Mm-hmm.
I thought her performance was the most heartbreaking out of them all. You could see such conflict inside of her all the way through, and she was just completely letting it out.
Martha Plimpton, of course, was very big in the late 80s and 90s. She was in films like Running on Empty with River Phoenix, who was her partner in real life. She was in The Goonies. You'll remember her from that. I've always liked Martha Plimpton. She's always been a real favourite of mine, but she doesn't do that many movies nowadays. But this is a great opportunity for her to show her acting chops as well. So I agree with you. Dowd really gave that very heartbreaking, emotional performance, but I also felt Martha Plimpton as well. The 2 women basically were really, really bringing it in this one. Not to say that the guys weren't either, because I think Reed Birney did a great job of being very reserved, being the person who was very good with facts and figures and stats, but not so good with being in touch with his emotion. Yeah. It's packed full of stuff, this, because obviously you've got the parents that were the parents of a victim, so they're obviously going to be devastated and, completely destroyed by what's happened, had their child taken away from them in this, moment of violence. But you've also got this other couple who are suffering those same emotions. They've had their child taken away, but they were also dealing with the guilt of it because it was their child that perpetrated these things. And I think that's one thing it tries to do very well, this film, is to not excuse them, not make any excuses at all, but it provides an opportunity for understanding, for, that they were kind of innocent victims in it as well. Because that's what they try to do. Then they try to, it's like, it's all about blame. It's like, we want to blame you for your son's actions, but really they're not. And
this is it. I think it's the strongest point of the film is how well written it is. I think it's a very well written piece, and the dialogue is fantastic all throughout. That is definitely its strongest point along with its performances. Considering the subject matter, we've seen films about school shootings. But this does it in such a way. Obviously, it's dealing with the aftermath. It's dealing with the victims of all sides, and it's really laying down the point of everyone gets burnt in these situations. Nobody gets away blameless, and everyone's going to be hurt in a way, including, as you say, the parents of the shooter who are going through all these situations as well, and they're going to be completely devastated. And
their lives are destroyed, aren't they?
Yeah,
because you can.
And even-
I think it's implied. It's never specified, but it's implied they're not together anymore as a couple. It's pulled them apart.
Pulled them apart.
They haven't been able to get through together. Whereas the other couple, Isaacs and Plimpton, are still a unit. They're trying to get through together. There's obviously stress and strain there, but they're still together. There's still love there to pull each other through. I felt there was also overtures to forgiveness there, because obviously there's a kind of religious element to it. It's called Mass in the first place, which is kind of a play on, I suppose, there's like mass murder as well as, Mass for a sort of religious going to church sort of service.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel like a religion was being pumped down your throat, but this idea of forgiveness, of letting go, of being able to do that in order to move on was a very important part of the film, because, ultimately that's the conclusion that they know they must come to. That's what Martha Plimpton says, that I need to do this. I need to forgive you. And she even says, I forgive your son, for having done it. In order to move on from it, you needed to be able to let go of it. And that's the one thing you get the impression that the biggest victims in a way were the parents of the shooter, because they'll never be able to forgive themselves. No. Because they can maybe even forgive their son for what he did and everything, but they can't forgive themselves for maybe this feeling of not preventing it in one way or another.
No, and I think that's the thing. You never would be able to realize with yourself.
No,
you're always going to question: could I have done something differently? And it's such a remarkable film, and it's fascinating the journeys that the characters go through. Because we talk, taking for example Martha Plimpton's character, the victim's mother, she really comes in with almost quite an angry attitude, doesn't she?
She's quite stony. She's
stone.
Quite,
She wants to blame. She's not interested in hearing. She basically wants them to give up the blame to her, to go, it's our responsibility, looking to point something. And then throughout the film, it changes into different things. To by the end, she's a complete emotional wreck and really forgiving.
Like she said, she's exhausted, emotionally exhausted from it all, which you do feel yourself watching it by that point. I think I felt very, very emotionally exhausted by it. And it's excruciating in that sense, but it's also very beautiful. It's a very beautiful film in the sense that it shows that despite such, really deep tragedy, human beings do have that propensity to forgive and to move forward and to even comfort one another. Because the main moment for me, when you think it's all over and they say, I think this is it now, I think this is a good place to leave it. And it kind of makes you feel like, God, that was rough to go through, but we're all packing up now. And just as you think it's like about to end, but then Anne Dowd's character comes back and she says, I need to tell you a story. And you think, oh my God, I thought this was over. And Plimpton and Isaacs are stood there like, oh gosh, what's this going to be? And she's like, yeah, sure, tell us. And then there's that moment between the two mothers where they embrace. Yeah. And I actually shed a tear at that moment. I got to be honest, it caught me.
It was very emotional.
I didn't expect that coming. And that gives you then the release you need, the closure on the story, really. Very beautiful film. Hard to watch.
It was.
It's hard to watch. I think anyone who's been through any really deep emotional trauma would have a tough time with it. But
yeah, it is. It one that really is kind of it's getting you, and it requires a lot of you as a viewer to get through it, because you kind of go through it with them.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned, there's been films about school shooters before. There's of course Elephant. From 2003, Gus Van Sant, and the film that came out a couple of years ago, might have been last year, Run, Hide, Fight, which was a far more kind of exploitative action film.
Yeah.
And so to see something like this, which is far more deep and introspective and about the aftermath and about the victims of such a thing.
Great film. I definitely advise it to anybody who really enjoys top drama.
Yeah.
It's not going to be for everyone because obviously it's quite a somber subject matter, but I think for anyone who likes serious drama and enjoys a good movie like this, it's top marks.
Thank you.
Okay, so on a slightly lighter note, let's have a look at some movie news.
Let's do it.
This week, we've had a report coming out talking about basically cinema is on the comeback.
That is awesome.
Basically, the revenues for Cineworld have come back out.
Is this UK?
Both UK and the US.
Okay.
Basically, the revenues for Cineworld hit 89% of the UK revenues from pre-pandemic levels.
Oh, that's not bad, is it? That's getting closer.
It is, and 91% in the US. Predominantly down to the release of Spider-Man has been the biggest ticket seller.
Ironically, we haven't even been to see it.
No, unfortunately.
We cannot take any credit for those stats on that one. Still haven't seen that damn movie.
I know, and avoiding spoilers is like the plague. But
it is. Yeah.
Yes, so people are going back to the cinema, which is obviously fantastic news. I know a lot of people who have been going, so we're starting to see it now. It's getting back to that point, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not all the way there, but we're close.
Yeah,
it's
definitely close.
That was close.
It's good news. It's Spider-Man, big blockbuster. All the kids are going to see it, all the Marvel fans, whatnot. I was a bit disappointed to find out that West Side Story didn't do so well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. The only thing I can take a guess at, if I was to take a guess at analysing it, I think over Christmas, with the pandemic and everything and people's finances, they probably thought, we'll go to the pictures to watch one film.
Yeah.
Maybe over Christmas. And because Spider-Man was out,
it was Spider-Man.
They went and see Spider-Man. And if not that, then it would have been for younger kids, and they probably wouldn't have seen that. It maybe would have been some kind of animation. I think a few kids' movies out at the time. So it probably got lost in the shuffle.
With a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited.
When Bond came out, that did extremely well, and other films that came out at the same time, which would have been done very well in other times, suffered because of the fantastic revenues that Bond pulled in. Yeah. And I think that's probably the reason.
Yeah. Well, when Bond came out, we went to see that. There was also Dune at the time. We went to see that. We even went to see The French Dispatch, and that probably didn't do great, probably did all right, but compared to something like Spider-Man, definitely not. But
no.
I was just a bit shocked to find out that West Side Story wasn't as popular as I assumed it would be. I think a lot of people, for some reason or other, considered it to be completely unnecessary for him to remake that. I mean, the 1961 film is fantastic, but I don't see any reason we can't have both and we can't enjoy a modern remake of it as well. So I'm still looking forward to seeing that, and of course Spider-Man. But by the time we do catch up with it, it will probably be purchasing it online and watching it at home with both movies.
And so in other news, we've just had the nominations for the SAGs have come out.
Screen Actors Guild.
Screen Actors Guild is, of course, where the industry themselves vote on best performances in films for the year. They've basically become one of the best critical barometers for nominations and wins in the Oscars. So this is a great kind of prediction of maybe what's going to happen. Actually, since the inaugural year of the SAGs, only 3 actors who have won the Oscar without winning a SAG. So it kind of puts you in the place of this is probably what's going to be the Oscar nomination.
It's a good indicator of who's going to win at the Academy Awards. The big one.
The big one.
This is the big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
Okay, cool. So what have we got? Let's have a look.
So
is Alec Baldwin in there at all?
Joey, be nice. People are watching this guy.
I didn't think so.
That's a shot in the dark.
Oh, John Goodman.
No, it's Alec Baldwin.
So let's have a look at supporting roles first. We've got female actor. We've got
Catriona Balfe for Belfast. Haven't seen it yet.
No.
Kate Blanchett for Nightmare Alley. Haven't seen it yet.
No.
Ariana DeBose for West Side Story. Haven't seen it yet. Kristen Dunst for Power of the Dog. Yay! One we've seen. Yes. Brilliant.
And an excellent performance.
Oh, yeah.
So,
she's always great. And then we've got Ruth Negga for Passing. Haven't seen it yet. So we've got a lot to catch up on here, buddy.
That's it. Before it all comes around.
Which we will. No doubt.
But an eclectic choice list of choices there. Maybe not the films I expected, really.
I don't know.
But
it's hard to say because we haven't seen many of them. You do the guys.
Yeah, we got the supporting male actor here. We've got Ben Affleck.
No.
In The Tender Bar, which it's Ben Affleck's now.
No.
We've got Bradley Cooper in Licorice Pizza.
That's another one I want to see big time.
Which we really want to see. We've got Troy Kotsur in Coda.
Now, there's a great film. Yes, we did. And we've talked about that here on the podcast previously. I think it was, 2 months ago. We'll put a link in the description below if you want to hear us talk about Coda. Fantastic film. I
now,
imagine
of course, he plays
the
father.
The father, who was a deaf actor, which was really cool.
Would be a really interesting win if he was to get it. And he did a fantastic role in the film. We've got Jared Leto in House of Gucci.
Another film we haven't seen that we're desperate to see.
Although
I've seen him draw some heat for this role because of the crazy Italian accent and all the rest of it. But to me, I can't wait to see it. He looks hilarious.
It looks like a great film, but I'm very bemused at this because a lot of the criticism I've seen of the film, people saying the film's great, but Jared Leto is terrible.
I've seen a lot of people say that because of those reasons, but that's what makes me drawn even more to it.
Nobody has ever said that to me. Nobody.
It's interesting because I'm not a massive Jared Leto fan. I think he does some very weird shit. So it's interesting to see him up there. Just like obviously like his Joker performance was just
the Joker was crap, but Dallas Buyers Club was brilliant.
I've not seen Dallas Buyers Club yet.
He's really good in it, man. It's a great film. He's great in that. Anyway, let's not get hung up on Jared Leto. House of Gucci we haven't seen yet, so we will.
And we've got Cody Smith McPhee for
what a name that is. Choose a name, buddy.
That's it. That's obviously the young lad. And
it sounds like a dog, Cody. Is he the guy who played the son? Kirsten Dunst?
The son, yes.
He was good. He was good.
He was good, but I don't think that's not an award-winning performance, I don't think, myself.
Not over Jared Leto. Anyway, best female actor in a leading role nominations are Jessica Chastain in The Eyes of Tommy Faye. Haven't seen it yet. Damn, I like Jessica Chastain, though. So looking forward to that one. We've also got Olivia Colman in The Lost Daughter. Haven't seen that one yet, but I've got it queued up there to watch. Looks interesting. That's the Maggie Gyllenhaal directorial debut. Also stars Dakota Johnson and Jessie Buckley. Looks good. We got Nicole Kidman in Being the Ricardos. Don't know anything about that film. I haven't even heard about it. Great to see Nicole Kidman up there, though. Lady Gaga, of course, for House of Gucci. Love Gaga as well. Can't wait to see her in that. Looks great. And the great Jennifer Hudson in Respect. Now, we did talk about Respect on a previous podcast. It's the Aretha Franklin biopic. Interesting film. We talked all about it. Go back and check the podcast out of us talking about that one. Jennifer Hudson's brilliant in it. I'll say that. It's definitely worthy of being nominated for actress in a leading role.
Absolutely worthy of a nomination, I think, because I mean, just the singing ability.
She's got it
to match it was incredible. So absolutely worth it.
Loved it. So yeah, there's the women in leading roles. Do you want to do the men?
Yeah, we got the males in leading roles. We got Javier Bardem in Being the Ricardos. Not seen that
again. We haven't seen it. We've got Nicole
appeared
Kidman
again.
is nominated for the same film, but we haven't seen it yet.
We got Benedict Cumberbatch in The Power of the Dog, which was a fantastic performance.
Brilliant.
He was a real bastard in that. And,
He was. But he did it so well.
Yeah. We've got Andrew Garfield for not Spider-Man, for Tick Tick Boom, which is the one we reacted to the trailer for this, didn't we? And it really didn't.
We did, and we
seem
didn't.
like
We
that cup of
didn't click with it, but then we got kind of quite a lot of heat for that, and a lot of people putting us straight about Lin-Manuel Miranda and about the character that Andrew Garfield is playing in it. I forget the guy's name now, but he's kind of a big deal to some people. So to be honest with you, it made me kind of have a second look at it afterwards and look into the character a bit more and have a bit more of appreciation for it. Not so much so that I've seen the film yet, because I haven't, but it is again queued up there to see. So, and he's a Brit, so it's nice to see him in there. Good on you, Andrew. You're not the greatest Spider-Man, but it's great that you're nominated for.
Yeah, I think I'm the thing with Andrew Garfield, because I never liked his Spider-Man films. In fact, I thought his second Spider-Man film was terrible.
It was. It was. It was terrible.
The only thing I really enjoyed Andrew Garfield in that I can ever remember was The Social Network.
He was great in that.
Which he was great in that. But everything else I've ever seen him do, I've never been that impressed. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me with Garfield, but he's a nice guy.
Let's watch the film and we'll decide after that, because it might be a lot better than we originally anticipated. Okay, moving on.
Then we've also got Will Smith in King Richard, which
another film we haven't seen yet.
We haven't been able to see.
You know what? We're going to have to take just 2 weeks off and do nothing else except
just watch it. We've really been wanting to watch this. It is queued up for us to watch. I can't wait to watch it. The trailer looked fantastic. We did react to that. That's on the channel as well. And then we've also got Denzel Washington, the fantastic Denzel Washington, in The Tragedy of Macbeth. We've been dying to see this. This has just appeared on the streaming services, so we're going to be watching it soon.
Yes,
I'm sure.
And we'll probably cover that in a future podcast, I imagine. I would
imagine so.
It's Shakespeare. It's Denzel Washington, and it's the first time Joel Cohen has done a movie on his own.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite funny because we were talking about it, and I said, well, Ethan Cohen's gone and he's directing theatre, and you said so. Joel Cohen just went and did theatre on film and said, "Look, you can do it on."
I'll miss my favorite television program, science fiction theater.
Denzel Washington plus one of the Coen brothers plus William Shakespeare. Get the fuck out of the way.
And I know somebody who has seen it, said it's very good, so I'm sure it is. We've been looking forward to it for a while. But I think looking at that, the actors in male and female categories there, it's a very strong lineup.
Yeah.
And an interesting battle.
Yeah.
And it gives a sneak peek at what the Oscars will probably be.
What it also gives us is a long list of movies to catch up on before all that goes down, because we'll obviously be watching these movies, reviewing them here on the podcast or on our Film in 5 reviews over the next month or two. You can join us on Patreon if you want to vote on which ones we single out and talk about in any kind of detail. Which you can do. Obviously, the links are in the description below. But I think that's kind of exciting. Like I say, for me, that's just one long list of homework.
Yeah. Go watch these.
That just leaves enough time for us to tell you about what we've been up to on our website and on our YouTube channel. In the last couple of weeks, we had a reaction to the trailer for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which you can check out here on the channel, link in the description below. And we also did a reaction to the new Nicolas Cage film, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which looks hilarious. So check out our reaction here on the channel. Again, link in the description below.
That's right. It's two very interesting reactions there. We've also I've just released a new review on the channel, Film in 5. Don't Look Up, the new Adam McKay film, which has been on Netflix. So that's covered right here on YouTube and, of course, on the website. Link in the description down below.
Dave, let me ask you, are you a Karate Kid fan?
I love the original Karate Kid films, yes.
As did I. Love the Karate Kid films. And I also put together an article because you may know about the series Cobra Kai, which has just released its 4th season on Netflix, which is a spin-off show. I put together an article, a brief history of the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. So if you're a fan of those movies or that show, go and check out the article. It's got some interesting little tidbits in there full of videos and different things. So, that's up there again on moremovies.co.uk.
Absolutely great article with loads of interesting things that I never knew hidden away in there, so go check it out. If you want to listen to us audio only, perhaps you want to listen to us on the go on your phone, you can check us out on your favourite podcast network, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcast or any of the vendors that we're on them all. You can check that out with a link in the description down below.
And join us on Discord. We have a Discord server, so if you want to come and have a chat with us over there, again, the link to our Discord is in the description.
And if you enjoy what we're doing here and would like to support us, you can over at buymeacoffee.com, where you can give us a donation, or you can subscribe to us at patreon.com and join one of the packages there where you can vote on the kind of movies we review or talk about here on the podcast.
So that's it from us this week. Thanks very much for joining us and watching along. Thanks very much to our Patreon pledges for voting for Mass, because I really enjoyed watching it and discussing it with you, Dave. Any final thoughts before we leave?
Well, just that we've got a mass of films to catch up on.
You said it, buddy. Until next time, please subscribe to the channel here. Hit the bell icon for notifications so you know when we're uploading new videos to the channel, which we do every week. And until then, keep watching more movies.
That's it for this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And remember to like, share and subscribe right here on YouTube. For more film reviews and articles, check out our website, moremovies.co.uk. And join us on social media at More Movies For You. That's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all across the board. You know the score. If you enjoy what we do, please consider supporting us at buymeacoffee.com or join us on one of our packages on Patreon. The links are in the description down below. And for more filmtastic content, click one of the buttons on screen now.